Welcome back. This is going to be Cut It Out episode 8. And today we're going to look at how to set the knife using the loupe. Now, the loupe came with your cutter. It was in the bag with all the stuff. And you might have gone through it and said, what the heck is this thing? And it looks a bit like this. And this is the loupe. It's got an eyepiece that you look through. And on the top is where you'll take the knife out of the knife block and you'll set it right in there. And you'll look through this and you'll see a grid pattern and the knife sticking out of the tip here, and you'll be able to see how far out the knife extends from the knife holder. Now, the reason we do this is because it's a really simple and easy way to set the knife for each type of media. And I put together a little cheat sheet that we're going to talk about here in a second, and it's going to show you exactly where you want to set your knife based on the thickness of the paper in either mils or grams per square meter, which is GSM. So when you put your knife in here, and you can look through this and you can rotate this until you get the knife really clear so that you can see the tip. And then when you make adjustments, you can just turn the tip of the knife holder and it will either retract the knife or extend the knife further. So all you have to do is look through this and turn that to get the knife exactly where you want it. So let me bring up the graphic and we'll talk through that and show you exactly how to do it. All right, let's take a look at what we see when we look through the eyepiece of the loupe. Each one of the lines after the large center line is going to represent 1/10 of a millimeter in distance. And you're going to see the tip of the knife extend into that area. And what we want to do is we want to set the knife based on a couple parameters. And that's basically either the thickness in mils of your media, and this is typically written on the box of the media that you buy. And it's going to be represented in, like I said, mils, which is a thousandth of an inch. Or in GSM, grams per square meter. And that's commonly how paper is represented these days for inkjet printing. Now, there's an American standard that's mostly like copier paper and printing paper where we look at the paper in pounds. You have like 90-pound bond, 100-pound, 110. But in the inkjet world, it's going to be mils or GSM. Now, what we want to do is set our knife based on that thickness or weight of the paper. And what I've done is I've outlined some of the common thicknesses here and where we're going to set the knife. And it's really a small distance. We're going to be between the second line and the fourth line for really 90% of everything that you cut. So we're going to start with the thinnest of the medias, or the lightest, and those medias are going to be between 6 to 8 mils, or in GSM, 170 to, let's say, 200 GSM. And for the thinnest, let's say 6 mils, we're going to set the knife right at the second line. And you can see down here in my second one, I have an example of what you'd see looking through the loupe. And we want the tip of that to be right at the second line. Now, if we were using a slightly thicker media, let's say 7 mils or 8 mils, then we would extend it a little bit further than that second line, all the way up to the third line. And then for your force, your starting force for something like a coated bond would be around 16. And then as we move up to 8 mils thickness, you could go as high as a 22 force. And that's something that you'll correct. You'll do a cut. You may see that it didn't fully cut through and it didn't disassemble easy enough. So you'll bump the force up another 1 or 2. And that should take care of it without making any other further knife adjustments. So this will get you where the knife needs to be, and then you can fine tune it with the force. It's really simple. So moving up to slightly thicker medias in the 8 to 11 mils range, or in the 240 GSM to 280 or even up to 300 for some of the really thick, like premium luster papers and things like that. We're going to set right between the third and the fourth line. So again, 240 GSM or, 8 mils, 9 mils. We'll start right at the third line, and then we'll extend it further as the weight of the media increases or the thickness in mils increases. Now, if we're going to do just a kiss cut on adhesive media, I would set the knife right at the second line. Your force is going to be somewhere between 12 and 14 based on the media itself. And if we want to do a kiss cut and a perf cut on adhesive media, you'll set the knife at the fourth line. Again, the kiss cut force will be between 12 and 14, and your perf cut force would be somewhere around 24, maybe 25. And that's really all there is to setting the knife using the Loupe. It's very simple. As you do it per media, make yourself a little cheat sheet. Take the name of the media, where you set the knife on the Loupe, what force you used, and then you can refer back to it every time you want to print and cut that media. What I've done is I've pulled a couple medias off our media room shelf that I've never used before, and I went ahead and I set the knife strictly by using this method. I didn't do any test cuts. All I did was put it in the printer. I printed on it, set my knife, put it in the cutter, and cut it. And so we're going to roll some of that video here and show you how it did. And it's really, really simple and quick. You can literally set your knife now using this method within about 30 seconds. So this is a gloss 180. And I've set the knife force to 21. And my knife extension was right at about the, I would say between the second and third line. So about 2.5. All right, we'll let this finish up, and it came apart nice and easy. No other fine-tuning adjustments needed. And there we have it. Now, the next one that I did was a gloss 280, and I set the force to 25, and my knife distance was just right at the beginning of the fourth line. And again, on this one, I didn't need to go back and make any adjustments. It worked perfectly. Now, again, I've cut thousands of, pages with many different medias. And so you kind of get a feel for it the more you do. So not exactly, maybe the same level as you'd experience if this was new to you. But again, it's very simple. And there you can see the photos. It was very easy to do. All right, so there you have it. Now you know how to use the Loupe and what it was for. And I would make this part of your cutting repertoire every time you load a media in and set your knife by it. Write down what the final parameters were, and now you have an easy reference to go back to every time you want to use that media again. All right, and that's it for episode 8. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions or there's something else you'd like to see.